Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
A Falcon 9 rocket from SpaceX often launches into the sky. It is a common event in the space industry. These rockets carry important things into space. Very often, the payload is a group of satellites for a project called Starlink. Starlink is a giant network of thousands of small satellites. They fly together in low Earth orbit, which is about 550 kilometers above the planet. The main purpose of this big network is to provide fast and reliable internet to people all over the world. Starlink is extremely important for SpaceX's future. The company sees it as an economic engine. This means Starlink makes the money that helps pay for SpaceX's other big goals. The biggest goal for SpaceX is to make humanity a multi-planetary species. This includes building a city on Mars. Starlink's internet service is very successful. In late 2023, the leader of SpaceX, Elon Musk, announced that Starlink had achieved break-even cash flow. This important step means the service now earns enough money to pay for its own costs. It is a massive and growing part of the company's business. The service has grown very fast since the first satellites launched in 2019. Today, Starlink has over 2 million active customers. It is available in more than 60 countries and on all 7 continents, from North America to Antarctica. The service receives praise for connecting remote parts of the world. These are places that did not have good internet before. Starlink has also become an essential tool in difficult situations. It helps people communicate after natural disasters. It has also been vital in times of war, especially in the Russia-Ukraine war. This growing power is not simple, however. Because one company and one person control such an important global service, it also creates controversy. Many governments and experts are now concerned about its influence. 2. Starlink's big growth. Starlink's growth is much faster than any satellite company from the past. Older companies often needed about 10 years to get 1 million customers. Starlink reached over 2 million customers in just 2 years. This incredible speed shows that its technology and business plan are very effective. The company is changing the satellite internet market very quickly. The old way of providing satellite internet used very large satellites. These satellites are the size of a small bus. They are placed in an orbit that is very far from Earth. Once launched, they stay there for about 15 years. This makes the system slow to change. Starlink's system is much more flexible. It uses thousands of small satellites in low Earth orbit, which is much closer to our planet. SpaceX can constantly launch more satellites. This means they can always add more capacity for more subscribers. The old companies are stuck with the satellites they already have. A key reason for Starlink's fast growth is its business model. The company is vertically integrated. This means it controls every step of the process. SpaceX designs and builds its own satellites. It launches them into orbit using its own rockets. Then it sells and manages the Internet service itself. This independence gives Starlink a big advantage. It can develop new technology and expand its network much faster than its competitors. When Starlink started, it was mainly for homes, especially in places without good internet. But its services have expanded. Now, Starlink also serves businesses. This includes the maritime industry, with thousands of ships using the service for connection at sea. It also includes the aviation industry, putting internet on hundreds of commercial airplanes. In the future, Starlink plans to offer cellular satellite connectivity. This will connect directly to normal smartphones. In the US, it is working with partners like T-Mobile. When a phone has no signal, it will automatically connect to a Starlink satellite. 3. A tool for war. Starlink is not just for connecting homes and businesses to the Internet. It has become a very important tool in modern war. This became clear during the Russia-Ukraine war. In February 2022, when the war started, a Ukrainian government minister sent a public message to Elon Musk. He asked for Starlink terminals to help keep his country connected. SpaceX quickly agreed and sent the equipment to Ukraine. Very soon, Starlink became essential for the country. Russia's attacks destroyed many of Ukraine's normal communication systems. Phone lines and ground internet stopped working in many parts of the country. In these difficult situations, Starlink was often the only way for people to communicate. It provided a vital connection to the outside world for both civilians and soldiers. This connection was important for getting news, information for safety, and for people to talk with their families. For the Ukrainian army, Starlink is now the main support for all communications. It is considered the backbone of their military operations on the front lines. Soldiers use the small, easy-to-use Starlink dishes to get a reliable internet connection in remote places. They use it to talk to each other over long distances. It also helps them to give and receive orders and to control some military equipment. Without this constant communication, fighting would be much harder. The Starlink network is also very strong and hard to stop. This quality is called resilience. Russia has tried many times to stop the network from working. They use electronic attacks to block or jam the signal from the satellites. But Starlink has a big advantage. With thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit, it is very difficult for Russia to jam the entire network at once. SpaceX also works to keep the connection active and secure. The company is very agile, which means it can change things very quickly. When Russia tries a new way to jam the signal, SpaceX engineers can write and send a software update almost immediately. These fast updates change how the system works to fight against the jamming. This keeps the internet working for Ukraine, even when the network is under direct attack. 4. Elon Musk's big power. SpaceX has been clear about how Starlink should be used. The company says the service is a tool for communication, not a tool for fighting. The president of SpaceX, Gwynne Shotwell, explained this. She said the company was happy to give Ukraine internet. It helped them in their fight for freedom. But she also said it was very important that Starlink was not a weapon. Even with this idea, the technology was very useful for Ukraine's army. They used it to control drones for attacks. This created a major problem for Elon Musk. In September 2022, Ukrainian military officials asked him for help. They had a secret plan for a surprise attack on a Russian naval fleet near Crimea. The plan needed sea drones, and the drones needed Starlink to work. They asked Musk to turn on the Starlink service in that area. Elon Musk made a very big decision. He personally said no. He refused to turn on the network for the attack. Later, he explained his reason. He was extremely worried about what would happen after the attack. He feared that if Ukraine damaged the Russian fleet, Russia would react in a very big way. He was afraid it might even lead to a nuclear war. This event surprised many people. It showed that one person, Elon Musk, and his private company had huge power. He could make a decision that affected a war between countries. This kind of power is usually held by governments, not by business owners. Part of the reason Musk had this control was because there was no official agreement at first. The U.S. government did not have a contract with SpaceX, so there were no official rules for using Starlink in the war. After this situation became public, the U.S. government acted. In June 2023, the Department of Defense signed an official contract with SpaceX. The contract is for buying Starlink services for Ukraine. This agreement puts the government in control and creates clear rules. It means that such a powerful decision will not be left to just one person again. 5. Other countries take action. Elon Musk has a lot of power because of Starlink. His decisions can affect other countries. This situation makes some governments nervous. They do not want one person or one private company to have so much control over global communication. It is a big risk for them. Because of this, several countries are now taking action. They have decided to invest money and build their own satellite internet systems. This gives them more independence. The European Union, EU, is one group that is worried. The EU is a group of many countries in Europe. Together, they are spending more than 2 billion euros to build their own large group of satellites. This new system will give them their own way to get internet from space, so they do not have to rely on Starlink. They plan for their network to be ready and working by the year 2027. China is another big country that wants its own system. It is building a large network of satellites in low Earth orbit, which is very similar to Starlink. The Chinese government has made it clear that it does not want Starlink to be offered to people in China. They want to fully control their own internet from space. Taiwan is also concerned, especially about security. Elon Musk has important business connections in China with his car company, Tesla. This relationship makes Taiwan nervous about using Starlink. They worry that Musk could be influenced by China. For this reason, Taiwan is also looking to create its own independent satellite network. It would help protect the country and keep its communications safe. This is a new trend. Countries see how important satellite internet is and want their own versions for security and control. 6. A problem for scientists. While Starlink connects people around the world, it is creating new problems for scientists. People who study stars and space, called astronomers, are especially concerned. The main issue is the very large number of satellites. SpaceX plans to have tens of thousands of them, and other companies are also launching their own. These satellites are in low Earth orbit, about 550 kilometers above us. Even when it is dark on the ground, the sun can still shine on these high satellites. They reflect the sunlight, and this makes them look like bright streaks moving across the night sky. For astronomers, this is a major problem. They use very powerful telescopes to take photos of distant stars and galaxies. These objects are very faint. When a bright satellite crosses the view of a telescope, it leaves a long, bright line on the photograph. This ruins the scientific picture and can hide important discoveries. Even famous observatories and the Hubble Space Telescope have been affected. SpaceX understands this issue. The company has talked with scientists and has tried to help. They made design changes to their newer satellites to make them less reflective and not as bright. These changes have helped, but they have not solved the problem completely. There is also another big problem for radio astronomy. Radio astronomers use large dishes to listen for very quiet radio waves from space. Starlink satellites transmit their own strong radio signals to provide internet to people on the ground. These strong signals are like loud noise that blocks the weak signals from space. It makes it very difficult for scientists to do their research. To solve this, scientists are talking with the companies. They hope the companies can agree to switch off their signals when a satellite is passing over a radio observatory. This would create a quiet moment for science. 7. Is it safe in the sky? Thousands of new satellites are now in orbit around the Earth. This huge number creates new problems. One of the biggest problems is space debris, which is another name for space junk. This junk is made of old or broken satellites and other small pieces left in space. All of these things are moving extremely fast. If two satellites crash into each other, they can create thousands of new, smaller pieces of debris. Some experts worry that too much debris could make some orbits around Earth too dangerous. It might become difficult and unsafe to send new rockets and satellites into space in the future. There is another serious worry. What happens when old satellites fall back to Earth? Starlink satellites are designed to work for about 5 years. After that, they must come down from the sky so they can be replaced with new ones. This means a large number of old satellites will fall through the atmosphere every year. An important government group in the United States studied this problem. This group, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, wrote a report about the risk from falling space debris. The report made a serious prediction. It said that by the year 2035, falling parts from Starlink satellites could injure or kill one person on the ground every 2 years. This would only happen if the satellites do not burn up completely when they re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. SpaceX said the report was wrong. The company strongly disagreed with the FAA's information. SpaceX stated that the analysis used old data and was flawed. According to SpaceX, their satellites are specially designed to burn up completely when they fall back to Earth. They are confident that nothing dangerous will survive the journey and reach the ground. However, some scientists still have concerns. Even if the satellites burn up, they release chemicals into the high atmosphere. The long-term effects of these chemicals are not yet known. 8. What is next for Starlink? Starlink has grown very quickly in just a few years. But it will be difficult for the company to keep growing so fast. This is a big challenge for the future. One reason is that many of the people who really needed better internet have already bought Starlink. These were the first and easiest customers to get. To find new customers, SpaceX is trying new ideas. For example, in some countries like Canada and Australia, the company has lowered the price of the Starlink equipment. These special sales show that finding new users is becoming harder. The future of Starlink is also connected to another big SpaceX project, Starship. Starship is the company's new, very large rocket. Starlink needs Starship to start flying soon and often. The current rockets, the Falcon 9, are good, but they are not big enough for Starlink's future plans. SpaceX wants to launch a new generation of satellites that are bigger and better. They also need to replace the old satellites in space every few years. Only Starship is powerful enough to launch so many of these new satellites cheaply and quickly. If Starship has problems or delays, it will be a big problem for Starlink's growth. Starlink is also facing more competition. Other companies are now building their own satellite internet systems. The biggest new competitor is Amazon with its Project Cooper. Amazon is a very large company and has a plan that is similar to Starlink's. It is building its own satellites and its own equipment for customers. Amazon plans to start testing its service with customers by the end of 2024. This means that in the future, people will have more choices for satellite internet. Starlink will have to compete with powerful companies like Amazon. Starlink has already changed how people and countries connect to the internet. It brought fast internet to places that never had it before. But its success in the long term is not certain. The company must solve these important challenges. It needs to overcome problems with money, technology, and competition to continue to lead the way. What do you think is the biggest challenge for Starlink's future?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.